What's going on, everybody?
What?
Welcome back. It's us.
What?
We are here.
No way.
I mean, they can see us, Jason.
Really?
They know that we're here.
That's not us.
Okay. Hi, people who you've never seen me before. I am new person.
That's
who's
not us. That's
not
reasonable.
Baby J.
Reasonable facsimiles.
That is not Slow Fuse, and I am not Baby J.
Jin grew a beard again.
Yes.
Just happens
Yep.
randomly.
Yep.
Just happens randomly. What's going on, everybody?
Happy Wednesday to you all. Hope you guys are having a...
See, Flapjack gets it. Who are you people?
Who are you people? And why are you talking to me?
Who are you people, and why are you talking to me? And why are you painting little men? Actually, painting little women.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. This is a... What did we say this was?
This is a stigmatic nun.
Stigmatic nun.
Is what it is called. From the Trench Pilgrims faction of...
Trench Crusade.
Trench Crusade.
So she is a fully armored stigmatic nun who has a sword and a drum-fed Luger.
That's so awesome.
It has a drum
It's so wild.
of 9mm ammo. She is ready. She has her chastity belt on. She has
my
a
gosh.
lock on both her neck and her crotch,
So I cleaned this afternoon,
which is awesome.
and I from my office I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Why does this nun have a lock on her crotch?
Yeah, exactly, right? What is
And
going on?
then I was like,
here?
oh yeah, that makes sense.
All right, well, I'm going to paint. I think I kind of have to. I think I kind of have to paint with metallic paints.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
So that's what we're going to do.
While you grab them out, I wanna give a shout out to Buffalo Knight. Hello.
Night.
It says, hey, first time watcher, just started painting minis this past year.
That's freaking awesome.
This is really cool. Buffalo Knight, you are excellent and awesome. Thank you for letting us know. Thank you for joining us. I think you will find that we provide a lot of useful information.
Painting is awesome.
Yeah, painting is awesome, turns out. Jason and I both like painting. We paint a lot. Also, another first-time chatter, we have Kiwa Paint. Hello. But yeah, if you guys are new to painting minis or you are just getting excited about the hobby, let us know. We love to hear it. We also love talking about painting stuff. So you will learn a lot while you're here. This is also good timing for you to start watching because we're starting from a brand new model.
Telling them they'll learn a lot is, I mean...
Jason.
You know.
Jason.
That's like borderline.
They will learn a lot.
That's like borderline.
We got to follow the script, Jason. Jen left us with a script. We got to follow it.
Oh, you'll learn a lot. You're about to learn more. You boy better strap your learning pants on.
It's good to see you guys. I'm so glad to be here with y'all today. And we got another first time chat.
Strap your learning
hosts.
girdle on.
Love the Procro line and all the short format videos you put out. I really have done so much better thanks to y'all.
I'm going to rearrange my paints real quick because this is getting stupid.
Who are you people? Slow J and Baby Fuse.
Yes.
Slow J just sounds bad. Who we got here? We got Paint Liquor, we got Big Bobzilla, we've got Rattle Can, Ghost Hunter, RFND Paint Palette. Hello. Flapjack, Monument Phillip.
What?
I don't know what he's doing here. Cannibalistic Zombie. Let's see here. We obviously Buffalo Knight. We got Kiwa Paints. Iterators here. We got TC Ghosts or TCG Hosts.
Yes.
One of the two. And Warpgate Studios. What's up? Good afternoon, Warpgate Studios.
Hello.
We are well. I have no plans for Thanksgiving currently. I have no plans. None. Went out to my mom's place last year, but we haven't made plans to do that this year.
Yeah, we don't have any plans ever anyway.
So, I don't know. Maybe go have dinner with some friends or something that also don't have plans, but that seems kind of unlikely. So, I don't know. I got nothing to do other than hang out and relax, which is kind of nice.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's because let me tell you, Thanksgiving is one of those weekends where even though you have a long weekend, it's really not a long weekend because you're just doing Thanksgiving stuff, which is great, but it's like a thing that you have to do. So it's like it consumes one of those days, and then Black Friday is usually okay. But it's interesting to like not have anything to do on Thanksgiving. It's very weird. So I don't know. I might cook myself up something fun. We'll see.
Sorry, gang. I'm trying to put things back where they sort of kind of go.
Big Bobzilla, is it
Can't find
Adepticon
anything.
yet? It is not Adepticon. We've still got 4 or 5 months, maybe. Give or take.
I feel like it should be Adepticon, but I don't want it to be Adepticon yet. I have to be honest. Adepticon needs to hold out for a second or two.
there is too much to do.
We need to not have it be right here, right now.
Yeah.
Because we got too much going on.
Look at this. Big Bobzilla so graciously inviting me to Thanksgiving night.
What?
Yeah.
No
This guy
way.
said if you wanted to, Jordan, you could fly to my house and I'd graciously host. Well, that's very kind of you.
So Big Bob, you've been around long enough to know that Baby J, he hasn't even gone out and bought the stuff to make the strawberry shortcake yet.
That's true.
Right?
That is true.
So I'm not sure that I would hold one's breath.
I mean, I can't do it right now even if I wanted to.
On that whole thing. Just going to throw that out there. You know what we have?
What's that?
Too many paints.
Yes, we have quite a few paints.
You know what we have? We have way too many colors of paint.
Having to get a little creative on where to store everything on my side of the desk.
Oh my god, it's crazy, right?
It is. It's a lot.
Like I'm like, wait a minute.
But you know what I will tell you though, Jason. I love every single paint that we make. There is not a single paint that I couldn't say, this is why you should use this paint.
That's
and this
the
is
problem.
why it's good.
Right?
Right.
That's the big problem. Is that it's very difficult to say that they're not all good. Yeah. I just need a bigger rack, which I have, which is why I've been holding off on cleaning my paints up. But I also can't find them all, so I'm trying to get enough of them out of the way so that I can kind of find the ones I need. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that right now. It's not working very well.
Oh, hi, Jabe. Jabe says, "What's that?"
Was what?
What's that?
What's that?
What's that?
Was what?
What's that?
What's that?
I'm assuming that he's talking about the model that you have on your desk.
I'm just trying to find out of all of it. Oh, there it is. I was
What
trying to find one
timing?
paint. It wasn't even where I was looking.
What
Nah,
good
pretty
timing?
much fits the bill. That's about my life.
Wild
right.
Tomato N. Hello. How are you doing?
All right. I don't
Sugar
know
Rush.
if
What's
any
going
of these
on?
colors are the right colors, but this is what I'm using. We're starting with magnesium because
Ooh, that's a good call. I like it.
Because
What's
hell
up,
yeah.
Stonewall? Hello. I derive great joy in wrangling all the family members for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I'm odd. I mean, look, I enjoy spending time with my family.
Do you though?
Well, look, I'm spending 2 weeks going back and visiting. Well, I guess technically, of the 2 weeks, only about 3 or 4 days of it is spent with my dad and grandma.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going back to Seattle after that. Although technically Hayden's family, so there's that. I call him my brother, so it was good enough.
Turns out magnesium is an amazing color.
The minute you put it on there, I was like, dang, that looks good. That looks really good. TC Ghost works for me. Get me a ticket to that Thanksgiving plan at your place. Nice. What's up, Oak Ren? Clarkatron 3000. Well, hello, sir. Long time. Even
Somebody
if they're
has
all
to-
good, what are your least used paints? Maybe that's the palette for the next challenge. Well, the problem is those colors are going to be different for everybody, right? We all have kind of those segment of colors that we use on a regular basis because we just love them and we just use them on it. Like, that's just kind of our happy place. And then every time you find a new mod or a new paint, you're like, ooh, I got to use this for a while. That happens to me every once in a while. Like, I'll rotate through the range and go, man, I haven't used faded green in a while, and I start using it, and then it's on the next like 4 models that I paint.
Yeah.
Which is cool because you kind of like end up rotating through the range, and you keep on rediscovering new things all the time, which is great. Let's see here. Somebody asked. It's a none up to no good. You are corrected, Raider. Also, hello, Rand.
It is. This is a stigmatic nun.
Yes.
From the Trench Pilgrims for Trench Crusade. I am using this is one of the first models that we've printed out of the Kickstarter models, the actual Trench Crusade models. Look at that freaking color.
Looks good.
God dang it, magnesium is a good color.
This print came out really nice too.
Oh, they're great prints.
The amount of
supported well. They're supported by Atlas 3D.
Yeah.
Support solutions who nail it every time. Those guys and gals are great who do the work there. And the printing, according to Brendan, went off without a hitch.
That's awesome.
He's got all of the Heretic Legion and Trench Pilgrims being plated now. We hope to have those printed out in the next few days. And then Jordan and I will be having our next paint battle, where we each do a Trench Crusade warband.
Oh, I'm in. I'm so in.
And I'm obviously doing Trench Pilgrims, hence this stigmatic nun. And he's doing the Heretic Legions because he's a filthy heretic.
Yep. Look,
although I did find it weird that like 90% of the Trench Pilgrims, not the model I'm painting now, she actually has boots on. Most of them are barefoot.
Really?
Yeah, which seems a little weird in trench warfare, but I'm going to go with it. All of the normal warriors are barefoot.
Weird.
They're heavily armored dudes with no shoes, which I think is going to be awesome to paint because you get to bring all the turf and mud color up into the skin, which is kind of fun because they're all like, wearing like capri pants.
Oh my goodness. TC Ghost is one of us already. Look at this guy saying don't eat the paints.
What?
One of us.
What?
Also, hello, Slayer Street. And
why would you miss an opportunity to imbibe some delectable paints?
Jason?
What?
Jason?
What?
Remember?
What?
The script?
What?
We got to stick to the script.
But she's not here.
Jen
she
is
can't
always
even be watching.
Jen is always watching.
She can't be watching.
She'll watch the VOD and then get mad at
this.
us.
Could be a thing. That could be a thing. I might die in my sleep tonight, guys. So wish me well.
Let's see here. Do we got Jay Tyler says, since the weather is now so great in Arizona, are you guys getting outside to soak some of this up?
We have been eating at places with patio dining.
It's funny you mention it. I actually went outside and ate. So I had some oatmeal for lunch, and I grabbed it. I made the oatmeal, and I literally walked around outside and did laps around the building.
It's nice
for like 45 minutes. Yeah, it was great. It was nice to get a little bit of exercise. It was really, really nice and warm outside, but not like hot. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was one of the best like walk around lunches I've ever done. It's great. Ghost Hunter, when we will see the Ilmatic nut? I don't. No idea.
The what?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
The what?
What's the lore on them fuse from Paint Liquor? I'm not sure if either of us really dug too much into the lore.
Trench Crusade is all the Battle of Heaven and Hell in World War I. So you literally have the gates of hell pouring open. You have things like bomb witches and the bomb witch, or the artillery witch they're called. The artillery witches for the side of hell open up dark portals direct to the armory of hell that then drops bombs through the hole onto the battlefield direct from hell.
Sounds like a place where I don't want to live.
Through these portals. So, and then you have like the Trench Pilgrims. These guys are the fanatical, crazy, on the side of God and the angels kind of thing.
Nice.
So there's a very broad swath through there. There's like a Middle Eastern horde. There's all sorts of really crazy stuff, but the lore is pretty deep. It has some neat stuff. I would advise you to check it out. We're going to be discussing it more We're hoping to have the team that created Trench Crusade on the stream with us in the next week or so.
That sounds
We're planning
awesome.
that right now. As we get all of the 2 armies plated and printed and ready to go, one of the days where we are painting, we are hoping to get 1 or more. They're only a team of 4 people, believe it or not. But we're hoping to get them on stream. They've shown some interest of coming on. We just got to make the schedules work. So that's the plan. And then you can ask direct from the horse's mouth what the goal is with the game moving forward. I think it's a really interesting game to pay attention to. These are all STLs. It is still remains highly agnostic in its miniatures. You can buy the models straight from them through this last Kickstarter, which is about to have a backer kit go live, if it hasn't already. They are also doing physical models through a third-party 3D printing service, which is neat. And yeah, you can see like the quality of the models is really good. This is a nice, I mean, these are small models, right? These are standard kind of 28 mil type models. One of the founders of the Trench Crusade game is one of the founders of 28 Mag, which is a magazine dedicated to the world of miniature painting and miniature wargaming. You can see the scale is nice. The models are insane. They have a really good World War I, trench warfare vibe, but they have like, crazy swords and big machine guns, and it's a weird war. Historical, so to speak.
I wonder if they're able to. Well, I guess they wouldn't do tanks, right? Because that's not how that works.
In the game, no.
Yeah.
But you do have big units. Like you've got the big dreadnought unit that I will be painting up for the pilgrims. That's called the Shrine. It's a big walking church, basically. Automaton. And then you've got the Sin Eater, which is a big, heavy infantry guy with 2 big, mace fists. So there are large units, but it is a melee, or not melee, but an infantry game because it's a skirmish.
Let's tackle some of these questions really quick that we've got in chat. Thank you guys for being patient. We got some questions here. We got one from Kruger. I have a question. In my country, for some unknown reason to me, they are not selling transparent paints. I really want to use those kind of paints because it seems like they're really, really good. Is there any way to make your own? Kruger, making your own's probably going to not function very well because the pigment itself is what makes them so different than the other colors that we have. Whereabouts are you located, Kruger? If I recall, you're in Europe?
Bulgaria?
Yeah, Bulgaria, if I recall. I would order directly through PK Pro if you can't find anything local to you.
Yeah, PK Pro sells our transparent set.
PK Pro absolutely does sell our transparent set. And they have that you can order it directly from their website. So it should be on there, no problem. Then we got another question here from Acrylic Viking. I'm stuck with the Chimera core set, but I've got some AK paints that are simply more practical to use. Should probably get a couple of Monument Hobby paints. It disappeared. Got to test a couple of the shared raffle paint job, mostly working on the Wolverine. That was not a question. But it was first time chat from Acrylic Viking. Hello. Welcome. And yes, you should try out Pro Acryl. You will love it.
I'm going to take silver and mix it with the magnesium. Yeah, we've got the Castigator. The Trench Pilgrims will have all of the units. I'll have a unit of 10 of the regular infantry, 5 close combat, 5 with the rifles and shotguns, the way they come. And then we will have Castigator. We've got this Stigmatic Nun. We've got a War Priest and a Shrine. I think there's another individual model as well. But we have access to all of the models. It'll really come down to just what we decide we're going to put together for the show.
Jason's cheating. He's getting ahead on the paint challenge.
As I do. I need all the help I can get, dude.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm gonna paint that stuff pretty quick.
That's why I'm painting with metallic paints. It's like, wait a minute. It's not gonna go well for me if I have to.
Flapjack Nickelsack, the artillery witch, is a cool model. Yes, I agree.
It's just in the way they write the lore for the artillery witch is just phenomenal stuff, right?
Thanks, Gabe, for answering that question real quick. He sent Toad. Question: could I sub burnt sienna for mahogany in the hair short you guys have on YouTube?
Probably. It won't be quite as red, right? The burnt sienna is a more orangey red. The mahogany is a deep brownish red. So, yes, you can get a good tone out of it. Just realize it will not have the same undertones on it. But most definitely. You can swap colors in and out as you have them. Really, what you're looking for is to make sure that you're replacing a dark color with a dark color. And you can make that work really well.
And yes, Papa Chicken, I am producing today. I actually like producing. Producing is fun. A nice break. Get to hear and look at chat a lot more than I do on a regular basis and answer questions. A lot easier when you don't have a paintbrush.
What is this? I've never looked at chat.
What is this thing that I've never seen before? Has this happened before? Yes. Is water wet? Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. What do I do with my hands? Paint. How many licks does it take to get...
Depends on what's on TV.
Paint.
How many licks does it take to get the center of Pro paint?
Too many.
3.
What's up, Route? Coming to us from the YouTube side. What's going on?
It's like I was over here today. Seeing how the other half lives.
The Trench Program's Cascadator model is great. Oh, that was the question you answered, or the thing you answered. When do you plan on releasing the Age of Angra minis from Route?
As soon as we just approved the box today, and so they'll be making the box. Gabe has more info on that one, but we approved the boxes this week. They will be making the boxes as soon as we get the boxes, then and labels. Then they'll be ready to go. So it's getting imminent. It's not as quick as I would have liked, but we've had a lot going on with all of the Color Forge and spray can stuff, so it kind of got lost in that. But we've made good progress this week. This is just a great color.
Yeah, this is magnesium, right?
Magnesium with silver added in right now.
Oh, yeah.
To do the highlight on it, which works really well. Because I don't want that full bronzy look. I wanted the magnesium to give me kind of a dirty steel.
You know what would also look really good mixed with that magnesium is white gold.
Could, yeah. Would just be brighter version of this. Maybe a little more yellow. But I'm trying to move everything towards steel. So
yeah.
I don't want to keep that yellow tone. I want to start bringing neutral and cool stuff into it.
Game Ed Elay. Lovely looking metallic paint. Where could one buy that paint? Well, if you must know,
there's this magical place called ! Store.
And FLGS. Oh, I typed it in the wrong spot. Well, that's just silly. Type it over here. Oh, things are going a little slow today. There we go. And yes, Gabe, there are more than 2 factions in this game. Like Flapjack said, there are in fact like 6.
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy that they have like 6 fully fledged factions out
New Antioch, the Heretic Legions, the 7-headed dragon, Cult of the 7-headed dragon.
Yep. There's what's the crazy Nurgly one that you had the spider
black.
guy.
I forget what it is. I don't know all their names right off the hand.
There is the Heretic Legion.
They also have mercenaries that you can use.
Yep.
Like the Tank Hunter automatons or mercenaries, I believe.
Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent.
Court. I said cult.
The Sultanate of the Iron Wall.
Sultanate of the Iron Wall. That's the Middle Eastern styled ones that are awesome.
Trench Pilgrims. The Black Grail is the last one. And New Antioch. Like we talked. And yes, Paint Liquid, today is in fact the day to bother Baby J. Because he's looking at chat and he's going to see all the things that you bother him about. But don't worry. Because Baby J is not here. I am not Baby J.
There is no Baby J.
Huh?
There is no Baby J.
There is no Baby J.
There is only the spoon.
Oh my gosh, Jason, I had the weirdest there's a glitch in the Matrix moment last night.
What happened?
So...
You see that same black cat 4 times?
No, but it was a gray cat.
Uh-oh.
This is the funny part.
Uh-oh.
Grant and I went to the gym. We pulled out we saw a cat as we were driving back here. And then literally 10 feet down the street, we saw the same exact cat.
Uh-huh.
And it was walking in a different direction than the way that we were traveling. So it was definitely not the same cat. But it looked like the same cat. And it freaked us out a little bit.
As it should.
I have never had one of those moments where you literally like turn around the corner and you go,
something's not right here.
Yeah.
Turns out cats only come in 6 colors. So the chances of seeing the exact same cat is fairly high.
Let's see here. Don't forget losing cattails. Yeah, I'm still sad about that one. I'm not gonna lie. Man, your synthetic brushes are too good. I haven't even tried the sables yet because I don't ever feel like I need one.
I paint 100% with our synthetics.
Yeah, Jason only uses our synthetics.
I love them.
I like sables, but
they have been one of my biggest projects, other than the paint line here at Monument Hobbies, was finding a synthetic brush that I enjoy painting with all the time, and I have nailed it. I have enjoyed painting with synthetics for years and years and years out of our line.
Gates of Paint. Ol' Mech is done? Question mark.
I have the base to do, but we got this all finished up yesterday. I probably need to do some markings on him. Got the lasers done. I probably ought to do some unit markings like on the legs and do like a Snow Raven emblem, but I put the basing material down for the concrete. I need to continue to build up some basing material. I didn't want to do that on stream because you got to do it and then let it dry for like an hour, and that's a waste. So we're painting this in between, and I'll do that off stream maybe over the weekend or something. But yeah, looking good.
I think so. That looks great.
Looking very good.
Let's see here. So Jay Tyler asks, could you just add a little blue to the metallics or glaze later for a cool temperature blue hue?
Yes, I'm going to, as a matter of fact. You'll see me do quite a bit with these metallics to do. These are just my base coats, right? So like real quick, this model plays really well into this because she's all armor. So I don't have to do, a ton to make it look really good.
What is this you're using right now? Is this dark silver?
Dark silver. Yeah. So dark silver.
It's cool to see the difference between the magnesium and the dark silver.
Yeah, even with the silver added. That's why I didn't use dark silver added into the magnesium. I used the bright silver or the regular silver just because I wanted it to have that big jump, and let dark silver be a really good base coat for these things on the in-between, which works really well. So. And then we will use transparents and washes and all that kind of stuff. I'm feeling out a color scheme for these guys because this will be the faction that I'm painting up. And they're all various sorts of, cloth and metal. Most of them with the big, cone head metal helmet and such. But just the magnesium with the silver added into the magnesium as a highlight, I think works really well. Gives us a good kind of dulled bronze. And then I will continue to push that towards dirty steel as we go. It's not quite as yellow in person as the camera is making it right at the moment.
Ethan Toad says, just got the glaze and wash medium. Oh my god, it is so great. I am glad to hear that you got it and that you were...
I want to believe the name is Heisentoad. I want to believe. So somebody tell me.
Oh, instead of Ethan Toad, Heisentoad?
Am I right?
That's a good question.
I want it to be Heisentoad.
I have no idea. Let us know. Tell us
I want it to be
whom is saying it the right way. Kruger's asking another question, Jason. This is a hypothetical question, not a literal one.
Hypothetical.
If you were standing between an alien or a predator,
alien or predator,
which one would you choose to kill you?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Why must I make these types of choices? I don't know that these are the kind of choices I'm really anxious to make. Why do I have to die? Can I choose? Can I choose cake?
Yeah,
I choose cake.
I'm on board with cake.
I need to steal rich gold. Do you have rich gold over here?
Yeah.
Bright gold.
Left palette towards the middle. It should be 5th row or 6th row up from closest to you.
Da, 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 da.
Find it?
Yeah.
Cool. Whoop.
That happened.
Panic Bomb Arcade, do you think the cats may be related? Well, they're the same cat. There is no question in my mind that that was the same cat, and it was just a glitch in the Matrix.
That was his Matrix moment.
They've changed something. Panic Bomb?
Something changed.
Something changed.
An agent is on the way.
An agent is on the way. Buffalo Knight. Being new to painting myself, can you tell me the difference between synthetic and sable brushes?
Sure. I mean, at the baseline, the sable is made from a weasel hair, so it's natural hair. It doesn't continue to have like oil, but because it has been connected to a hair follicle its entire life, it has a much more flexible, in the terms of like the weasel hair is much more flexible. The big difference when painting is it really relies on you to understand how much pressure you apply to the area the brush is touching the model, right? So when you watch me paint, I have a very light hand. My brush doesn't bend a lot when I'm painting. Some people have a very heavy hand, like they smack the model and the brush will bend all the way over like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but a synthetic brush is a little bit of a stiffer bristle, meaning that it has better snap, we call it. So when a synthetic brush is bent, it snaps back to straight quicker because it's a stiffer bristle, which I really like because I do a lot of texturing, a lot of very fast brush strokes that I'll hit the model with a fast brush stroke, and then I'll want the bristle to come back to straight so I can hit the model with another fast brush stroke right after that. And that allows me to do everything from, quick stippling to hair, or textured brush strokes all over the place, which is just kind of built into my style of painting. The synthetic being a plastic, for lack of a better term, right? It is, polyesters and nylons and mixtures like that. Means that it will get a memory on how you use it. So a lot of people will be frustrated with synthetics because the tip will have some curl to it after time. That's avoidable if you use little tricks like what we call chasing the tip, and don't paint with the bristles bending the same way all the time, which is kind of a subconscious way that we as painters treat the brush. But I prefer synthetics. Jordan over there likes sables.
Mm-hmm.
So they are both great. In the world of miniatures, you will tend to find people who swear by sable brushes because that's kind of been held as the industry gold standard for so long. Admittedly so, there in the past and even today, there are synthetic brushes that are not very good. They're usually very cheap. And they don't last long. And so it gets frustrating when you want to go in and do detail and a brush, starts to splay and frizz out at the end like cheap synthetics will. So they get a bad name for themselves over the years. But nowadays, that technology has caught up to the expectation, and I would put our synthetics up against anybody's sables, including our own, for people who have a lighter touch when they paint. Meaning, like I said, you're not applying a tremendous amount of pressure because the control with the brush is bar none some of the best you'll ever find.
Oh, by the way, Jason.
Yeah.
You were right. It is Heisentoad.
Aha! I love it.
Adjustments will be made. Late to stream, Mechanized Imposter. What model is this? This is...
Stigmatic Nun.
Yeah. Stigmatic Nun from
Trench Crusade.
Wad Tomato N is trying to have you give away the Mad Cat to your favorite Tomato N.
My favorite Tomato N?
Yep.
There's so many, though.
I know.
I wouldn't want to piss one off.
Yep.
You can't, it's like giving it to my favorite child.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Also, hello, Gosu. Good afternoon, amigo.
I'll raffle the Timberwolf off to the way you'll get a raffle ticket is to send me a cheesesteak.
Oh my gosh.
And
yes.
The best cheesesteak.
I cannot confirm that Jason will in fact give it away. But you guys should send him a cheesecake anyway. I would just laugh if next week you just start receiving
moldy cheesesteaks.
No, I imagine it's because you can get like cheesecake and stuff shipped to you, and it's still fine.
I said cheesesteak.
Oh, cheesesteak. Oh, that's a little weirder. We know a good place. We can make it happen.
I start getting like dashers showing up with cheesesteaks random times during the day.
Yeah.
All of this.
You get a little bit from Corleone's. You get a bunch on Tuesday. You know? That's funny. The Hive mic is back. Jordan, save me from my next 3 hours of meetings. I'm so sorry, Mike. I mean, you are capable of saving yourself by not doing your job, but I would never suggest that you did that.
That is really bad, great advice.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I would never suggest that you did that.
That advice has both a fantastic outcome and a horrible outcome all in one.
Correct.
The fantastic outcome is all the time you'll have to yourself. The horrific outcome is all the time you'll have to yourself.
Monument team, tell me if there's something I can look forward to buying soon. That's also for Mike. I mean, yeah, there's always awesome things on the horizon for you to be buying from us.
Chastity lock is best lock.
What an amazing thing to follow up my last statement with. Chastity lock, it's best lock. Oh my gosh.
She has a chastity lock.
Oh my goodness.
This is one of those Ghostbuster moments, is like, who is the key holder?
Gosu said, I got into this hobby only using synthetics. Now I mainly use sables. Took me a while to learn how to get the most out of the sable brush.
Yeah, again, it's one of those where you'll have to find your way. I tell everybody it is more cost effective to jump in and start painting with synthetics, even if you just buy cheap synthetics from a Hobby Lobby or something, until you really can identify that miniature painting is something you're stoked about and are going to continue to do. And then start paying attention to, maybe buy one sable brush, just buy a single before you go out and buy a set. And compare it to how it feels painting with that versus, your synthetic, and you'll find your way.
Well, you can even do a custom set, right? You can buy those custom sets go between sables and synthetics. I don't care which type
our BYOB, like the ability to build your own brush set, will go for any brush sable.
Yeah.
So you can put 3 synthetics and a sable in there. As soon as you get to 4 brushes, you're getting the set discount.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that makes things really, really easy.
Okay. There's a lot of talking happening today.
Bring it on.
Ghost says, it took me a second to realize you're painting this in true metallic metal.
Yeah.
Mike is saying this non-metallic metal is getting crazy. It's like you're putting down one paint and it already has shine to it.
I know it's rare to see me paint with metallic paints.
Hello, Awkwardish Panda, and hello, Mo. What's up? Love yo faces. Papa Chicken, Squidmar put out a video today explaining that there are some severe restrictions being put in place on sable hair in general. Have you heard anything that confirms that? Do you foresee supply issues?
No, he is in Europe, so it may be an EU thing. We already have ridiculous restrictions on sable in the States. We have to have all sorts of licensing to bring our sable in. You as an individual buyer can't really do so. So that's why people like Rosemary stopped. Look at that fly on my hand. This is a brazen ass fly. Look at that guy.
Oh my gosh. He's just hanging out.
What can we do? Nope.
That would be
get
hilarious.
Out of here,
just
fly.
got it on camera.
This is everybody leaving the damn doors open because the weather's good in here.
Mike, the answer to that question is 0 cheesesteaks.
But the ability to import sable to the U.S. has always been tough. Maybe Europe's clamping down on it too. There's something called CITES, which is a trail of how the trapping and the acquisition of the material has gone that is done in order to stave off poachers and things like that for protected animals and things of that nature. So the CITES paperwork has to be done all the way from the trapping institution through to us. And so that creates an issue because there aren't a whole lot of people in the part of the world that do the trapping and all the way to the factory that want to do all that paperwork for the US and Canada. So you wind up with a difficult ability to get this stuff over here. We still do it, but I've said for a long time that Kolinsky sable in general, because it's misclassified, that whole thing is yet to be discussed in a global scale. Nobody wants to understand that they misclassified the animal because it's not a sable, it's a weasel. It's Mustela kolinsk is the species, and it's not a protected animal in any part of the world that I know of other than the US because of a clerical error.
Because of a clerical error?
It is.
That's wild.
And they've never once changed it because the only way you can change that stuff is to have lobbyists that care about it, and nobody cares. So
Mo's asking, is it Therapy Thursday yet? Oh no. Do you need it to be Therapy Thursday? I'm sorry to hear if you're having a bad day. Pedro Coto, apologize if I got that wrong. Pedro, hey guys, what are you painting today? We are painting a stigmatic nun from the Trench Pilgrims faction of Trench Crusade.
This is one of the actual Trench Crusade models, not a third-party one. So
yep.
If you pledged to the Kickstarter, this is the one of the stigmatic nun models you will get if you pledged for the Trench Pilgrims faction. Or if you're crazy and got all the factions.
Let's see here. Panic Bomb saying Squidmar is shipping individual orders to the U.S. where he's getting caught up. Apparently he's just having issues getting them into the U.S.
It's because he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. He's just a guy making brushes. He's not a business that knows what you're doing business-wise. He'll get screwed on that one. They'll burn his brushes at customs.
He explained that he can't ship his brushes to the U.S. anymore because of licensing restrictions.
Yep. There you go. See? You should probably check how business works before you decide to sell people stuff.
Oh. Mike says that fly was giving Jason all the kisses chat wishes it could.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Great. Yeah, that sucks for people that bought them from him. Because I'm sure he's going to have to refund all that. They've burned big, huge amounts of sables hitting the U.S. shores before because they've been shipped to people who didn't have the correct licensing in place.
Oh, really?
And customs over here won't return it to sender.
Really?
Yeah, they'll just burn it. They give you a certain amount of time. It's stuck in customs. They don't return it because of the cost. No shipper will take it back.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not covered like General Mail and FedEx. You know, you're usually talking about fairly large boxes of stuff.
Right.
And yeah, they burned it. I've heard all the horror stories.
Mike, no cheesesteak surprises.
So yes, so you should tell Email that he should send them to us, and then we can handle it because we have all the licensing in place.
That's funny.
Except he has to paint with Procro for the rest of his life.
Ooh.
And he just signed a huge deal with Vallejo probably to have those paint sets done.
I think it's more that they can do paperwork for one whole... Oh.
What's that?
It says, Ken Alosic said, I think it's more that they can do one paperwork for the whole huge shipment, where Skidmore would need to do paperwork for each individual order.
Yeah, you have. Well, and each individual has to have an import license, which you can't do because they don't offer them to individuals.
Yeah. Jade.
There's no way to ship protected product to an individual in the United States because the individual cannot get the license. They have to have a company. That company has to be registered with the federal government, the Fish and Wildlife, in the case of animals, and you just can't do it as an individual. They vet you pretty hard. Yeah, that's why Rosemary stopped. She was very honest about it. She said, hey, we can't ship individual orders to the U.S. You'll have to buy our stuff through like Dick Blick or whoever they distribute through.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Same with Windsor Newton. You're not supposed to be able to get those. Some people still ship them that way because they misclassify them. You can get sable brushes from China because they won't classify them as sable. They just say they're artist brushes and they give them a tariff number that isn't indicative of... They just lie, basically. So you can still get them. And as a consumer, you know, I don't know that you would ever get in trouble for it, but there's a good chance your stuff won't get to you because it depends on how much attention customs is paying.
Jade, hello. I think starting with a He-Man game was a good entry into the painting hobby for me.
Yeah,
the color palette.
Those models are cool. We had one of our viewers, Lumberjack Tim, paint up all the He-Man stuff.
Yeah, he painted up like all of it,
like the whole box set.
Yeah. It says the color palette isn't too complicated, which has allowed me to focus on technique. That's a great starting point. Something that's simple and easy to kind of break down into its separate parts so you can focus on each individual piece without having to worry about all the doohickeys and ding-dongs.
Mike, I mean, not in those terms, but yes. I mean, you if you don't run a business, a lot of people will just think you can just sell things, right? And we've seen it a lot. Content creators will run raffles, and then they'll get fined for running a raffle because you can't run a raffle unless you do it by the legal operations of the gambling laws in the United States. You can if you're raffling it off to like 50 people. But I've seen big content creators on like, video game streams and stuff do a raffle where they make like, $100,000. And all of a sudden you hear that they lost $150,000 on the raffle because they got fined because somebody turned them in.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's gambling. That's why on the back of all the raffles for like cereal boxes, they say mail in a self-addressed stamped envelope and we'll send you an entry for free. There has to be a way to get an entry without donating or subbing or all of that stuff. Otherwise it's gambling.
Yep.
And they will hit you back as soon. I mean, they won't hit you back until the numbers are big, probably, because they don't have time for it. But it's the same thing. Content creation is fun until you start to try to infringe on things you don't know anything about, and then it becomes a bummer. You're like, oops, I didn't mean to. The brushes are seeking asylum, says Battleborn. You're wondering if this is going to show up in the combo? Paint liquor? What combo?
I think we're pulling from two different parts of chat right now.
Archon and CMON, there's a difference for He-Man models? I think Lumberjack Tim was doing the Cool Mini or Not game, right?
Yeah, it was from Cool Mini. Was the one that
Those models seem pretty good.
Yeah, they're solid. I know Shelby was really excited to paint up some of it.
Yeah, Panic Bomb. All raffles and lotteries have to be no purchase necessary.
We got Jacob.
Unless you're a qualified not-for-profit. I think, and don't quote me on this, I think that qualified not-for-profits can do it because it's done at like silent auction style, but that all the money gets retained for charity. I think there's ways around it in that case, but that's a tough one to do. You have to be whatever the designation for a not-for-profit business is, and that's tough to maintain. I'm raffling off free entries to get 10 gallons of noosh. Nice. That's exciting. A whole bathtub full, Mike. Bathtub full of noosh. Can you imagine?
A whole bathtub full of noosh?
Like, if you sat in a bathtub full of noosh for, like, how long would it take for it to solidify to the point where you couldn't get out of the bathtub? Except when you stood up, the noosh wouldn't stick to the bathtub. You'd just be in a bathtub-shaped noosh suit.
Yeah, you'd be a noosh brick.
If you kept your hands out of it while it dried, then technically, and your feet out of it while it dried, then technically you could still scoot around and have your hands like robot hands.
I will tell you will need more than 10 gallons of noosh to do that.
And you'd have
like a lot more.
How many gallons does a bathtub hold? Like 50?
It's like 50. No, because so the bigger trash cans are 54. That's actually probably pretty. It's like 55 to 60 maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be something like those big trash cans, right?
We also have Jacob Jansen Studios here. Says hello, Monument Hobbies.
What's going on, Jacob? Hey, I am glad to see you. We've been pushing people your way. I didn't know if you were making plinths or not, but I always push people your way, Jacob. So I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, it sounds like his shoulder is healing up from surgery.
Good.
Hoping to get back to things in another month.
Awesome. Yeah. No, we get a lot of people asking us about plinths, and since we don't do plinths, we always send them your way here in the States. But I never know if you're making them. So I hope we don't inundate you with customer service. It is unnecessary at some points, but it almost sounds like Jordan is speaking from experience. Well,
hey. I know a lot about a lot. Okay.
A standard bathtub can hold around 80 gallons of water. Holy expensive experiment.
Yeah, you're like, can I get 80 gallons of noosh, please?
At our cost, our cost, that's an expensive experiment,
right? How many bottles would that be? Because you think I'm trying to break that down to like how many bottles that would be, and it would be a crap load.
It would be
like thousands of bottles, yeah.
Around. Hang on.
2.5. That's my guess.
It would be like 55,000.
55,000?
Yeah, roughly. Maybe 50,000.
80 gallons?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize we got that much out of our
maybe
our
50 times 5,000. 5,000.
Oh,
not
okay.
50,000.
I was like 50,000 is wild.
Yeah, 5,000.
Okay. Let's see here. Scrolling down so we can catch up.
That's still a lot of bottles of douche.
Law Dog says, wait, I just realized the model has a Mauser or Luger with a drum mag. Insanely awesome.
Yeah, it has a Luger with a drum magazine on the Luger. It's so good.
Donnie Dynamo, packing up for a move at this point. I think I'm keeping models in boxes at the new place instead of on display. I made up some storage boxes with foam and it takes 70% less space at the cost of not seeing the figures. Let me tell you, Donnie, I had the similar realization when I moved from Seattle here because I had to move all of my miniatures and I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? For the record, I only broke one mini out of all the minis that I own.
Isn't that crazy? He moved with like display cases and all sorts of crazy stuff. His display cases, he didn't even take them apart.
No.
They were just in the moving van.
Yep. Didn't take the glass out.
Glass still in them and everything. I was like, oh, dude, you're in trouble. They opened it up. Those things were bulletproof. I was like so jealous. I was like, that would have been me, it would have been shattered, stuff everywhere. It's like, oh my God, I was so jealous.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of noosh, we're going to noosh it.
Heck yeah.
We're about to noosh it, chat.
I'm so sorry, Mo. I'm sorry to hear you're having a bad 2 weeks.
Mo!
I'm sorry, bud.
What can we do?
Yeah, what can we do? We want to help.
Can we help? Can we tell you really bad jokes? I don't have any. All my jokes are great. So. $2,523 bottles? No, you're wrong.
Mo, what you said, yeah, he did do a great job on the He-Man stuff. Tim knocked it out of the park on that stuff.
You're right. Really good. It is about half of what I said. Babe J also isn't driving like he's running from the law in the backwoods. Wait, what?
What? You've never seen me drive?
Baby J drives like a crazy bat out of hell.
Do I though?
He does.
Oh man,
He's like 100 miles an hour. Cops chasing him the whole time. Nuts.
I'd be in jail, Jason. They're not.
If Jason tried to move a display case 10 feet across the room, I'd assume it would shatter. No, I can do that. As long as it doesn't include putting it in a vehicle anywhere along the way, I can do that. That's probably way too much noosh, but whatever. But whatever. Whatever, dude.
Gabe just said you'd have to grease up that tub so you can unstick it.
I want here. Maybe orange oxide would be the better choice. Burnt sienna, orange oxide. I want a rusty undertone. Burnt orange, maybe?
Jacob Jansen Studio says, I have bins full of them. Just need to get them sanded and polished. That's awesome.
I'm going to do burnt sienna. We'll see how it works. Show us a gallon of noosh. I got it in 5 gallons in the back.
Yep.
I'm thinking maybe what I want to do here first is do the black wash first.
Oh, Gabe did the math. First. Gabe did the math on the...
Yeah, it's like 23. It's a half of what I was saying.
Yeah. Man, that was a pretty good guess. Source. Any tips on quick and easy painting of demon horse teeth?
Demon horse teeth?
Demon horse teeth.
I don't know what color a demon horse's teeth are.
Let your imagination fly, Source.
Purple?
Let your mind tell you.
Any color you want? I like teeth being teeth color, so you can go watch like the Bone short that Jordan did, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? No matter if it's on a demon or not. It's either that or like black. You know,
ooh, black would be a cool idea.
If I'm doing something that is wanting to look completely, uncanny valley type stuff, then maybe black teeth would be all right. I don't know. Oh, my eyes. Real demon horse teeth are plaid. Well, I was trying to make it easy for him, but now you went and ruined it. Now the pressure's on.
Got Bushman here. Missed out on a lot of streams due to work. Been loving the shorts that have been coming out, though. Thank you so much. Glad to see you enjoying them. Mo said, make my parent young again would be fantastic.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mo. That sucks.
And far less hospital incompetence would also be fantastic. It blows my mind how common it is to have hospitals doing stuff incorrectly. It's not saying that that's a thing that's happened, but it's happened in my family on numerous occasions. My dad is like particularly militant about it because he's spent so much time in hospitals that he gets really bent out of shape about it. So I'm sorry to hear that you're having to deal with that, Mo.
Yeah, it sucks.
We are here for you in as many ways as we can be.
That's hard to joke away from, so
yeah,
keep your chin up.
Yep.
I think the right idea is to do the wash first.
Oh, Punisher's got a good point about the bathtub noosh. Says the good news is that I think we can save a little money on this experiment if you factor for displacement of you sitting in the bathtub.
Oh, that does make it easier.
Yeah, you have to factor in the displacement.
I'm glad somebody's thinking with their science brain.
Yep. That's actually a really good point. It would not be as much douche as we think.
Yeah, how many gallons does a Jordan take up?
Enough. A decent amount. Enough that a good portion of me doesn't fit in the bathtubs, usually. Turns out I'm a large dude.
So maybe it's only a few bottles of noosh.
Oh, man.
Then it's not really more than just a skin on you, though, and that's a little weird.
Wad Tomato came came up with a great one, Jason. You'll really appreciate this.
Oh no.
My son asked my wife why I make noises every time I stand up. She told him it's because I'm a grown man.
Why I make noises?
Yeah.
A groan.
A groan.
Like Groan.
Grown man.
I'm a grown man as well. Oh, after that joke. Oh. Oh.
Mike says, Wad, stop making me laugh at dad jokes while I explain the software download integration to these mindless drones. That's so good.
Papa Chicken says if he wanted to do the experiment, it sucks because he's a hobbit-sized individual.
Oh yeah, it's like you gotta pay more for that.
All right, we gotta let that wash dry for a minute. Finally, an economical solution to a noosh bath. I know we've all been wanting it for years and years.
Oh man, Christopher would. Too bad Christopher's not here because he would be all over this conversation right now.
I feel like it's like, you know, they used to have like you would pour like the Kool-Aid, you make Kool-Aid and you'd pour it in like the popsicle mold and then you'd stick a stick in it.
Yeah.
And then you pull it out and you had Kool-Aid popsicle.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's what we need. It'd be like a noosh popsicle. You'd put it in the bathtub and then you'd dip yourself in and let it dry and then you'd get up and you'd be walking around with a noosh shape on
we're
noosh
not
bathtub
sticking
shape on
ourselves
you.
in the. Well, there's two problems here. One.
There's no problems here.
Well, hold on, Jason, because the thing we didn't think about how long it would take for that.
See what I put up with, chat?
Think about how long that would take to solidify, Jason.
Well, that's what I was asking, is because this came off of the how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Proco bottle, and I said 3, but then I started thinking in my mind while not talking to anybody about like how long would it take for a tub full of noosh to dry. And I think it would probably take about 30 days.
It would take a long time.
So you'd have to have somebody feeding you, and you'd have to hold it.
Yeah, because what are you going to do? You're going to,
the saddest part of this entire conversation is that there you are waiting for your noosh bath to dry so that you could have the best Halloween costume ever with the toilet within eyesight, if not right next to you, and not being able to use the toilet.
Yep.
And then once the noosh dries, you don't have to worry about ever using the toilet again. So there's that.
PK Climber, I got a chalky texture on a mini I was painting. Pretty sure I just didn't let it dry long enough. But is there a way to fix the chalky texture, or is it just best to strip and start over?
What do you mean chalky texture? What is it? Describe what you're talking about. On a single color? On a varnish that you did? What? What are we talking about? Help us understand, and we can help you out. I really should put this like on a holder now that I'm sitting here with it all wet. I'm I should probably put this on.
Jason, there's an empty cork on my desk that you can use.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of sticky tack on it.
Ooh, I have a bunch here too, but yours has sticky stuff.
Yeah. It's what I primed it on, so it's perfect.
Aha!
Finally, an economical solution to a noosh bath. I love it. Just a reminder, guys, if you happen to ask a question that we miss while scrolling through all of this, please make sure to drop the comment back again and at us so it'll notify us we got a question. I think we caught them all, but just in case.
Little ASMR for you, chat.
Wad says, I can't take credit for the joke. Friend shared it. I'm just the messenger. Or the harbinger.
Yes.
Either one.
Both. Horrible human being is what I would call it.
Oh, man. Gosu called it a nooshsicle.
Yeah. He's thinking right. I feel like that's right.
10 gallons of noosh is called a Chris.
It's called what?
It's called a Chris.
A Chris?
Yeah. That's funny. Because Chris is the one out of all of us who's used the most noosh on a project.
This is also true on that damn orc stompa.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It looks so good, though. So you can't even fault him. But he used like a whole bottle. Legitimately used a whole bottle of noosh.
Yeah. Monument Jabe, if the top layer solidifies, would the layers below stay hydrated?
That's the problem. when you're dealing with that much volume of any type of an acrylic suspension, the issue is that it's always going to dry from the outside layer in, so it probably would never cure.
Yep. You could poke a hole in it.
I'm trying not to get into the reality to mix up with the fantasy, because then the fantasy's out the door, and I like the idea of a noosh sickle person, so I'm going to hope that somebody in chat tries this. I'll even sell them the noosh at cost.
Who wants to buy that much noosh at cost?
We'll even make sure it's cost affordable. Well, I mean, it's not affordable at that point.
Gabe, just wait till they see the bad moon. Goes through a whole bottle of noosh on one model is so epic. Jordan, I picked up my next big project model today. What is it, Gosu? Tell me more.
You once left some noosh on a pallet, and it was still usable for how long?
After peeling the top layer off the top, at least 2 weeks later.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mike is asking. Mike is. We just have to apply slowly. We have to slowly apply layer by layer. Mike is like, I'll buy that much noosh. Sell me a Chris of noosh.
I am not sending 50 gallons of noosh anywhere. It's unaffordable. Let's just say that. It's unobtainium.
It's unobtainium. Gosu says, picked up the Adeptus Titanicus Warlord Psi Titan. Gonna print some upgrades for it.
Man, Titanicus. Okay.
That model, that Psi Titan, is sick. I love that model. I also just really, really enjoy all of those models. They're really, really cool.
Let me give it a little spritz of water. I made enough to do a whole army here, so shame on me.
Mo, I hate you. I've been after that model forever. Is it back in stock finally?
Which one?
The Psi Titan.
Oh, the Psi Titan?
Mm-hmm.
Mo, get on the internet.
Zombie, don't get him going. Don't get him going, Zombie. Paint Liquor, I need a team for Operation Noosh Heist. Ugh.
That already looks pretty good. The black wash over the top of the magnesium and the silver with magnesium makes a really good dirty steel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Papa Chicken, been doing some undercoating experiments. First experiment, went hard with the super saturated colors. When I did the transparent colors over the top, it kind of looked like the colors were mixed. No bueno. Second experiment, I did zenithal with super saturated colors and spraying from above with an off-white. The transparent colors then don't have the rich undertones at all anymore. Do I just need to fine-tune the balance and placement of the undertones, or is there a smarter way to do this?
I'm gonna let Jordan handle that one.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me
That's
parse
a lot
this.
of words.
Let me parse this question one more time. You want harvest super saturated colors, great. Then you did transparent colors over the top. So you don't want to use transparent colors on top of your undercoat, right? Because the whole idea of the undercoat is you want something semi-opaque to go over it. If you're just using transparents, it's not going to be opaque at all. So you want to use opaque colors to go over your super saturated base that you build up with. There's a good undercoating tutorial on our website.
Makeup sponges?
I have them. They're in my office.
Where?
In the back of the bag. On the opposite side of my desk. They're definitely in the building. There were also two on top of that.
I found it.
You found them? Okay.
I got a whole thing now. Ha-ha! Fine!
There you go. Those aren't the pretty color ones, though.
I don't like those. I just want white.
I really like the different shapes that they have, though. That's kind of the nice thing. I don't care about the color.
Yeah. I can see that.
Dead nerve, finders keepers.
I love how he told me where to find them, so it's his fault.
I did tell him where to find them.
Can't
I
even
knew
blame
exactly
me.
where they were.
Can't even blame me for it.
No.
You told me.
Yeah. Well, you're also the guy who I should probably answer those questions to. I should probably answer those questions when you ask.
We make really good metallics.
Yes. Yes, we do. The
I
reason
never
why
paint
people
with our
buy them.
metallics, and I'm like, we make really good metallics.
So Papa Chicken, to kind of circle back to this, my recommendation, do the undercoating the way that you started with building the nice saturated colors from your undercoat. And then use the skin tones that you're putting on top of it, or whatever color you want to put on top of it. Use an opaque paint and mix some glaze and wash medium into it, and you'll make more of a semi-opaque color, and then build that up in layers on top of the undercoat.
I love how Big Bob or Mike is asking, do I often walk around the office just yelling mine about everything? There are times where I bust out with the, that's mine, right?
I have literally heard Jason walk into an office, grab something, and say mine, and then walk out.
Mine.
So this does happen.
It does happen.
It does happen.
I'm not going to shy away from it. I will own it. It does happen. It definitely does. All right, here we go. This might mess up some of the blackwash. I don't even care. I'm going fast. We're just getting color test stuff going on. So here we go. I'm doing a whole model.
Oh man, here we go. While you're doing that, Source is saying or says, "Are you okay over there, Gabe?
What happened, Gabe? You all right?"
Oh my.
I'm not real sure what happened.
That's orange. Gabe. He's like, "What are you doing?"
If there's one thing I've taught people over the years is that you always trust the fuse.
Yeah. I know what Jason's doing. The minute he pulled out this color, I knew exactly what he was doing. I'm not worried in the slightest. Yeah, so sources, the teeth on the horse are tiny, so the bone method is a bit much for such small details.
I wonder how many people are in chat right now that don't know Noosh exists. We always get some people that don't know we make this amazing magical product called Noosh.
It's true.
This is about to be life-changing for some of you. Or really horrible for me, one of the two. But
Source, I would look at the short for the salamander teeth and gums.
yeah, that was a good one.
That will help.
That
you
did
with
teeth really quick.
Yeah, that will help you do exactly what you're trying to do with the teeth that you got, because those are probably just as small. And that recipe is stupid simple. Flapjack says, "I used Noosh just yesterday." Oh, I put it in the wrong silly chat again. I'm a goofball. Gotta type it on the side. And restream is
There you go, chat. We're done. Thanks for tuning in.
Jason, we got 45 minutes left.
Come back next time when we show you how to draw a horse.
If someone random jumps in here, they would be so dang confused on what you're doing.
What in the world? You just ruined that model.
Yeah, why did you just blast this model with a bunch of orange?
What are you doing, you silly, silly man? Got to give it a little bit of time to set. A little bit of time. This is not something that I suggest you do with acrylic paints very often, but here we are. We make this magical component that will change your life called Noosh. If you have not ever tried Noosh, well, I don't know how to say it other than it'll change your life. If you are a painter of any means, you've been painting for any amount of time, it's pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Slayer sword right there, Jade. Oh, man. Ogren, looks like you slammed a ketchup packet on the other side of the table.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I think the highlight areas in the gold trim true metallic methodology would work with the color selection from the gold non-metallic method. Wait. The highlight areas in the... Yeah, so I mean, if you're painting true metallic metal and you're painting non-metallic metal, your reflections are largely going to be in the same place.
Just kind of dabbing the sponge rather than wiping. It'll pick up a lot of the noosh either way. Wipe in some of the open areas, dab in the areas where I've got like spikes and overlapping armor panels and stuff.
Jason, what is the expected shelf life of the new spray can varnish?
Used or not used? Meaning, have you opened it and used it? Or are you buying cans to use at a later date? Two different things.
I would assume this both. So, column A, column B.
So if you pop it and start to use it, then you probably have, I don't know, I would say a good estimate is a month, 2 months maybe, to where I would say you are guaranteed, you'll get really good flow. A lot of this is variable based on humidity, temperature, storage. How do you store it? Where are you storing it? That kind of stuff. Don't expect any aerosol can to last like a year. You may have had luck having stuff like here in Arizona. It's very dry. I can put an aerosol can out in my garage and come back a year later and it'll work somewhat, but it won't work great. So, pull a part of this off so I can get into these tight spots. Actually put it into the forceps. Same way we did with the sponge to do our weathering. Tear off a little bit of the sponge and get inside these areas a lot better.
Game at Elay says, I like this model maybe more than Sir Percival. Jason, well done. Uh-oh.
That's tough. That's a hard one right there.
Source, I'm glad that the salamander teeth is exactly what you're looking for. Would the brown wash work out of the bottle instead of mixing it myself? I mean, I would follow the instructions that are there because they're there for a reason. If it does say to mix it with some water, some glaze and wash media or something, then I would definitely do it.
Now we're talking. I love Noosh so much because you can just play. If you've been watching me for long, we've been painting on Twitch for 9 freaking years. And if you've been around for any number of those, you'll find that the things I tend to gravitate towards are things that make paint fun. Right? I want to have fun when I'm painting. I want it to be something that feels carefree. You know, I want to be like an uninhibited child goofing around, because that's how the creative world feels to me, or it feels like it would be the best, is if I don't have to worry about it. Dance like nobody's watching kind of thing. Just look at that really cool rusty glow I'm getting. And the noosh is pliable for quite a while. I think that's about as good as I'm going to do with the sponge. And now we'll move to a brush.
No, the guide mixes a wash using dark golden brown. Just wondering if the brown wash would be similar out of the bottle or not. Yeah, I mean, it would work.
It's going to be more of a reddish than a yellowish.
Yep.
If you use the brown. So just be careful with that. So I'm just going to take a damp brush, and there's a little bit too much rust up here at the collar area where I just can't get a sponge in there. And I'm just going to take the damp brush and do that. Boom. Ta-da. Move it around. Done.
Ta-da.
This will make your paint able to be moved and used for so long that you can kind of paint it around how you like. Right down here in this jawline area, I don't want that big buildup. Get rid of a little bit of that.
It's definitely all about going in here and picking out all the areas where it pooled a little bit harder than you would like.
Well, on a model of this scale, like we've been doing dreadnoughts and vehicles, and they're big enough that usually the sponge itself does all the work for you. These smaller 28 scale models, you know, or 28 mil models, you're going to have to do what I'm doing here, because you will get pooling in spots where you're like, nah, it doesn't really cut it.
You also see it a lot more in areas where the sponge doesn't really hit very well. So
that's what I'm saying, right? It's like crotches
is bad.
Deep divots are very hard to get a sponge into, even when I did it on the forceps like I did. This gives us a very dirty Trench Crusade look. Muddy, rusty, steel. Yep. I'm loving it.
Papa Chicken says, I'd like to speed up my dark lining, but is there a smarter way to approach it?
I think that looks really, really good. Ta-da.
Game delay. I really want to clarify. My comment about Sir Percival was a joke I made when the model looked like a wet Cheeto.
Oh, all right. I understand now.
Zombie, you can't joke about Sir Percival like that. He's sensitive.
He is. You go cry into somebody else's beer. Man, that was just freaking great.
So what are you planning on doing here for the like little cloak thing that's sticking out behind her?
I'm thinking like a really dirty white, because that's kind of how the whole faction is kind of like priestly white garb that's really dirty from being, you know, in the trench. So I'm thinking browns build up to kind of a, you know, white cloth. The other thing is that I could do burgundies, and burgundies would look cool too, but I'm thinking white. You know, like just absolutely dirty, filthy white on all of them. And we'll see how we like it.
I'd like to speed up my dark lining. Is there a smarter way to approach that? I know of, but I haven't tried the enamel panel filter or enamel panel liners. Are there any other options?
So when you say dark lining, what are you dark lining? Do you have a particular model you're trying to do it to? Can you help us understand what the end goal is for you? Model-wise? Because we do all of our panel lining without doing any panel lining, right? So like the dark lining on this mech is just done because I painted the mech dark first, and I paint the lighter colors outward from that, and I don't put the light colors in the lines. So my dark shade, whether it be the dark blue undercoat or the dark jade or the bright jade, as it goes towards the top, the lines aren't quite as contrasty because that's where the light is. but they're dark where they need to be, is all just in the painting method that we use, right? And that's how we do just about every model we do, right? So when you see contrast in between scales and chains and things like that, even the braid of the hair is because we don't put bright colors there. And that gives you that contrast without having to spend time going back and doing any dark lining. Now, if the way you paint is that you paint a lighter color first and then you want to paint your shades back in, then yeah, like those enamel style panel filters using our transparents and our glazed wash medium will do the same thing. That won't get, if you go in and just kind of pin wash, we call that, you just put it in there and do the lines as opposed to a wash all over the top of it, because you'll get a filter if you put a wash over the whole thing like what we're doing here. Changes the color of the whole model. Whereas you can do a wash that just goes into a specific spot called a pin wash, which is what you're generally seeing oils and enamels used as. But they don't have to be oils and enamels. You can use your acrylics the same way. I want a little bit more of the color on the outside of this leg. The nice thing with Noosh, I can go back and forth. I can build it up, knock it down. You can literally paint with it like a normal paint. Like I'm just going to use a brush here, right? I can just put it on there, then get the brush damp, and then just kind of stipple it around, and it will remove some of it while also leaving more of that color behind. I got to make sure I clean my brush quite frequently, otherwise it'll just move the paint.
So do you have any plans on layering anything else on top of this, Jason?
I'm going to dry brush it.
You're going to dry brush it afterwards?
I'm going to dry brush it with silver.
So kind of like, yeah, man, that's going to look really nice with the dry brush. That metal's going to pick up that dry brush really nicely too.
Yeah, that's a hope, right? Is that it then will, because it has enough little pokey details and stuff, that it'll pull that out. There we go. That gave me that rusty glow on that calf that was missing. All right, and then I put a little bit on the inside of this thigh that I stippled around a little bit on the bottom side of this knee pad over here too. This is just fun because it's a subtractive paint. It's meant to put on and then take off, and it's what's left after you take it off that gives you the effect, as opposed to everything else that we're talking about, like washes that you put them on and you hope they go on right. Noosh you get to play around with it and remove it, and you just get this really neat fade and blend everywhere. It doesn't look splotchy, even though all I did was hit it with a freaking makeup sponge. Yep. I mean, it can't get any easier than that, right?
I think the amazing thing about Noosh and using it where you kind of like get a little bit more out of it than people expect is when you take it from just doing the filter like what you did and you remove it with the sponge, and then going back in afterwards with a second application to add more texture and detail to those surfaces to get more of a filter. Yeah. Because this looks spectacular.
Yeah. It looks like a lot more work than we spent on it.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still moving. Really nice. I'm still able to go in and clean it up. And you would not be able to do this with any other acrylic product on the market. There's just no way. And if you did put a drying extender into your acrylic paint and hope to get this, you'd find that the drying extender made it gummy.
Yep.
And when you went to move it around, it would start to pull and tear. And the thing with Noosh is it doesn't get like that until its very end. And it won't be that it starts to pull and tear. It just won't move anymore. And you can see, like, look at the blends on those knees.
Yeah, the bottom of the knees look really, really, really nice. Right? It's got that perfect bit of, like, speckly, sort of, like, rusted out armor. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, just super nice and super easy.
You know what's also really remarkable about this model? It is very simple.
Oh yeah, like this is a do it in a day kind of model, right?
Yeah, this model is not crazy complicated.
So I looked at it and I was like, you know what? All of these I think I can get away with doing metallics on, because if I do the Noosh with the rusty stuff, it's going to give us a really, really good look and really play into the whole grimdark feel of Trench Crusade, because it really is the grimmest of grimdark scenarios that are out there right now. It beats 40K to all the hell with regards to that feel.
Yes, it does. Turns out trench warfare is about as grim and dark as it gets.
Yeah, muddy trenches with devils in them.
Yeah.
Seems not where I want to be.
Now, did you because you ordered the stuff from the Kickstarter. Did you get all the physical terrain as well?
All of it, yeah. Yeah, for the shop, we got every physical model and all the physical terrain.
That's cool.
And all the physical everything.
That's
as well as all the STLs. They're of course sending us the STLs ahead of time so that we can start printing and painting and talking about them on stream. But yes, we also got all this stuff. Yeah, this is Trench Crusade. This is one of the official. Stigmatic nuns with the
from the Trench Pilgrims,
the drum-fed Luger or Mauser.
God, that
and a sword
makes me laugh so hard. The drum on that thing.
There's another one that I think has like a flail or something like that, and she's topless. So
yeah,
the Stigmatic nuns are very cool. All the models are really, really neat. No matter what faction you pick. There were a couple of the factions that were like the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent was kind of cool, but it's real demonic-y.
Yes,
and
very demonic.
It didn't speak to me as much. The Heretic Legion also has a big demon, but it felt a little bit more grounded. It felt more like Chaos Cultists.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then the Trench Pilgrims really spoke to me because they have a dreadnought that's a walking church.
Which is cool.
that I'm like, sold. That's all you had to do. It's called the Shrine of something, and it's amazing. So
I really love the that like werewolf model that's part of the Heretic Legion.
Yeah.
I saw like the full 3D render for that, and I was like, man, this model is, as Jason would say it,
the Warwolf.
This model's bitchin'.
Yeah, the Warwolf is really cool.
It was a very cool model. So that and like the Sun Eater is really cool. I'm really excited for us to.
I don't know that we got the Warwolf. I'll have to check.
Oh, okay.
I don't want you to get your hopes way up because I'm not sure I saw that STL in there now that I think about it. So we can contact Jamie back and ask him for it.
Yeah. Let me make sure that it's part of I'm pretty sure it's part of that faction.
Yeah, it is.
It is? Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Warwolf and the Sin Eater are their big ones. This damn fly is about to drive me bananas.
Caped Beardy says, what kind of PA paints would you recommend with Noosh for the typical grimdark grime looks?
Well, you can see I just used, the burnt sienna here to get rust.
Mm-hmm.
On the model, the Dreadnought that I did for the video on Noosh, I used black brown as the overall filter. So we put the burnt sienna all over this guy and or this girl, and then we did black brown over this entire model. And then I sponged it off. I did it in stages because this model's much bigger. So I did like the legs, then I did the torso, then I did each arm kind of thing. So black brown gave me a really good grimy filter. Then I went back with the Noosh.
You can see it in the arm.
Did stuff like this. I've got the burnt sienna, so I'll do it real quick on this. I'll pull one down. So let's say I grab a little bit of the Noosh, right, with the burnt sienna on it, and I would put it like on this rivet, right? And I'd put a healthy amount on that rivet and let it sit there for a minute or two, because you want to let it dry a little bit so that it gives you a little bit of color. But with a little bit of a damp brush, I can come back in and I can start pulling streaks that give that rusty streak on there. And then dampen the brush a little bit more. And as I dampen the brush a little bit more, I want to hit the part of the streak that's down low to start thinning it out and leave most of the Noosh up top. And that's how I did all of the streaks up here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you pull that down, and now you have this. When it dries, it'll be this pool of rust around here. And you can come through and, with your damp brush, make sure you keep cleaning the brush off. But you can hit the edges there to make sure you don't have any real circles or spots. And now you have that oil stain effect. So any colors you want work in that realm. Right? And you can continue to do it. Say if that's too much for you, then you can continue with your damp brush and you can take more of it off. Right? Be as aggressive as you want to where you can basically get it to where it doesn't look like you did much of anything. And that's really neat because that type of a filter looks really good as this kind of worn. See how this yellow ochre up here doesn't look like a streak of anything. It just gives me an oxidized effect.
Yeah, some of that just filtering with those kind of colors can give you really interesting.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to do that with any other acrylic paints. They would immediately stain the model, and if you try to remove them, you're going to get that oil stain kind of a thing. And so now all of a sudden with my finger, a sponge, whatever, I can just come in here and continue to kind of put a filter all over this thing, wipe it off as I need to, and it'll just kind of alter the color a little bit and give me that streakiness and that grime that really does look like the filth of war, so to speak. And I think the earthy tones are the best. But also don't discount the fact that bright neutral gray, even white, work really well for oxidized paint. Because if you've seen an old car that's been sitting out in the sun for a long time, it gets like a white powderish look to it as the paint oxidizes and turns into physical flakes like rust. So that can work. So there's all sorts of colors. But yellow ochre, the orange oxide, burnt orange, burnt sienna, black brown, warm brown, those colors, dark camo green, yellow green, those kind of military earthy tones will be your best bet to start with. And then you can go the nuts from there.
Let's see here. So another thing to tack on to the thing that Cape to Beardy said that launched that conversation. They also said that they love our products and that they're the best. So thank you for being awesome and loving the stuff that we make.
Yes, thank you.
Then we got here.
Well, it says it's snowing, Chad. I'm not happy.
Yeah. I would be so stoked. That sounds awesome. Although it depends, right? If I had to go out in the snow or if I had to like drive anywhere, I would be much less happy.
Can't pick your family. He didn't know who Baby J at Monument was? That's Jordan Lamb, man.
My name is Jordan Lamb with a B. Lamb, like the animal.
Bambi.
That's
what your new name is.
I was one of the studio painters at Privateer Press for a very long time. Met well, not all the old crew. There's a lot of different phases that happened during the course of that company's lifetime. And I got in towards the end. Jade, we've got a winter weather advisory tomorrow. Apparently there's some crazy wind up in Seattle too. Playing games with Will last night, his power shut off. That was wild.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Pacific Northwest big windstorm that they were all hunkering down for.
Hairdo says it's going to snow here this weekend. And you're very welcome, Hairdo. I stopped remembering names when they cycled through them like a deck of cards. Yeah, well, such is life. You know what's really funny? That name is super familiar.
What is?
Explosivo. My bro was Explosivo at War Machine Weekend. Not sure what the event is called now. But that name sounds familiar. Flapjack, it's not even the fun kind of snow. It's just nasty and windy and wet. Oh, no. The only good snow is that, like, that nice powdery stuff that goes away really quick. Doesn't cause a bunch of problems when you're driving. That's the best kind of snow. Or, like it snows here, like Jason and Jem were talking about yesterday. That's the best kind of snow. Can't beat it. Because then you can say it snowed. It looks kind of pretty, sort of. God, that would be so weird, because, like, just seeing the white around... I mean, it must have disappeared within, like, a couple of hours. Because I imagine it happened overnight. I'll already be at work for an hour by the time it starts. Well, hopefully you can make it back okay, Jade.
You've already been trying out different mixes for antique gold, and the dark camo noosh suggestion has you curious and excited to experiment. Oh, Cape, yeah, it's amazing. You can imagine, like, if you want those undertones on anything. And now, noosh is a way to be adding material to the model. So the rusty color, rust sits on top of the metal. So in my head, the proper way to do rust is to paint the metal, then paint the rust on the metal, because the rust sits on top. It is the oxidized material, either the scaling of the metal itself under duress or heat or stress or age, where the metal top edge starts to flake off, and that flake then oxidizes, turns into rust, and it's a thing. It's a physical thing you can wipe off of metal and polish it back down to the source. Mm-hmm. So rust wants to sit on top. Now, we've shown you a lot of ways that you can do rust, where you put the rust colors on and then dry brush the metal over the top.
I love
and
this
these
workout,
look great. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. That looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But technically, this is done in reverse. The rust colors are on there first, and then the metallic paint is applied second. And while that looks really great, it doesn't have the same effect that this does of placing that grime on top. So Noosh is going to give you grime on top. So when you think about greens and things like that, it's going to give you like a mossy mold feeling, when you put it on top of the armor.
Gross.
Which is really cool. Like I would probably like to do some greenish undertones on these guys, as a matter of fact. And paint the dark yellow green in the shadows rather than a blue.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Blue, cool, like cooling off a metallic with a blue generally gives you the sense of a cleaner surface.
Yep.
Because you can imagine like the reflection of the sky and whatever your mind tells you, but that cool shadow in a blue tone is usually cleaner. Like when we paint stormtroopers, you can start stormtroopers with dark blues into white if you want. It's going to give it a cleaner look, some bluish hues. It's going to make it look polished and hospital white. If you use greens and browns and oranges to build up your white, then it's going to look dirtier, earthy tone, out in Tatooine kind of stuff. So you really just pick where you want to go. And then all the colors of the spectrum are open to you. Just understand that visually color has an impact in terms of the emotional response and the identification of the scenario, because your eyes are used to seeing things, right? And in the real world, those bluish tones tend to be a little bit cleaner. Doesn't mean you can't have dirty blue. But if you're painting like dirty ultramarines, you're going to start with a dirtier undertone color, a rusty orange or brown or, something like that, as opposed to just going blue, blue, and blue. Make sense? But with Noosh, every color's on the table and every color will do really cool stuff. And as you can see, like we bang this out super quick, not really even a care. And it gives you a really nice, now that it's starting to dry and you'll see how it isn't spotting up, is really awesome.
Man, it's crazy to me because we don't use these zoom-ins very often because it's only on your side. But these zoom-ins work really, really well to give the...
Oh, yeah. You can see what's really going on.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a trick of the camera. It's not a focus or a distance issue. This is right up front and personal. This is you holding it in your hands while you're painting it. Right? That model's closer to you looking at it than it is to me while I'm painting it.
That's true.
And so you can see how smooth the Noosh, gives you that coverage. And especially over a metallic, where the reflection of the metallic is going to make it to where you can have some areas that build up higher, like the underside of those knees, right? Look very rusty, but if I tilt them towards the light, it almost goes away. So it's a really neat effect when you do it over metallics like this.
Blood of fire. Apparently the illustration for this has a whole bunch of blood all over it.
Yeah, I'm going to put blood all over it. The stigmatic nuns, the idea is that they're like out there. They're like the penitent from the Sisters of Battle. So they're like thrown out front, just killing everything.
He's going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to put blood all over them.
Oh, there's going to be blood all over her.
Let's go.
Yeah. This, the other model that is bare-chested, her entire chest, bare breasts and all are just covered in blood in the artwork.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Like, just like dipped in it, So it's almost like war paint. So I love that idea. I'm big into that ecclesiastical, like war band, like absolute fanatic, bathe in the blood of your enemies kind of thing. So yeah, we're definitely doing
that. D-Fresh, what do you think of dark umber with Noosh on golds to make it look old and worn?
Yeah, you very, very much could.
Yeah, I like to use it a lot more, specifically dark umber with like greener golds, and use warmer colors with the more orangey golds.
And my only problem here is that I want to dry brush next, and that's scary to not let the Noosh dry fully. With a lot of things, like if I wanted to glaze, I could do it right over the top of the Noosh, but because I want to dry brush some highlights on here, I got to make sure the Noosh is fairly dry. But we're going to go for it anyway.
Blood, Xenobond, blood.
Yeah.
Cannibalistic zombie. I don't know why, but when I see the boob armor here, I imagine both men and women in this army wear it.
Iterator, do they have an STL for the topless one? Yes. We have it. It's being printed right now. I'll be painting it on stream. There's two of the stigmatic nuns, this one and the other one. I don't think they have other bodies. I think it's just two. Fully armored, and the other one that just has like armor on her lower torso, and the armored arms, I think. The chest is bare, and the blood, and she's stark raving mad looking.
So here's a question that I have, Jason.
Uh-huh.
So in the packs they have the models, which seem like they're not multi-part. They're just like the STL for that model.
Uh-huh.
But they also have like a pack of printable like parts and weapons and stuff like that.
So the troops are all multi-part.
Oh.
The troops are multi-part. They have 5 torsos for most of the warbands, and then they have different sets of arms for close combat or ranged, and then multitudes of heads, and then the accessories go on them like different packs and emblems and crosses and things like that.
That's cool. So you can build a ton of different variation.
Yeah. Yeah, the goal is to have all sorts of cool things you can do with them, and that's what we're doing. You'll have 10 bodies to play with.
That's very cool. I'll have to dig in and read, like put a list together of stuff that I want to have in the army or in the band, war band. What do we call these
war
groups?
band?
War band. Yes, at Rattlecan, it was burnt sienna, so it was not a transparent. It was an opaque color. Paint liquor. Wait, you can paint bare-chested nuns without violating TOS?
Nowadays you can. You didn't used to be able to.
True. Twitch is a different place than it used to be.
As long as it's artistic, she's not like overly sexualized.
I think this silver is working really, really nice.
Yeah, I'm just being very faint with it, but it's enough to grab some highlight areas.
Twitch flip flops more than a bass out of water.
Yes. Yes. 100%. Yeah, see, that really dials it in.
Yep.
That little bit of a dry brush over the top of the rust really seats the rust in nice.
Yeah, it's really interesting what sort of effects that you can create when you layer color together, right? You have your base layer, you layer the filter of rust or whatever on top of it, and then you layer something else on top of it. On top of that layer, it's really interesting what it does to the model and how much depth in just a flat surface you can get out of just doing that sort of workup.
Yeah. That's why we always talk about being able to identify what your bottom color wants to be and what your top color wants to be, and fighting the urge to just glaze your shadows back on, because then you're putting that shadow on top of other colors, as opposed to allowing your color to come out of the shadow and be on top of this darkness, which is really what you want. So yeah, it's interesting in all sorts of regards how to provide for that depth, get it, layer color so color looks like it's in the right place, not like spilled grape juice when you glaze purple into shadows or whatever.
Yeah, these are going to be fun. What do you think you're going to do for the base? Like muddy trench base?
Grime.
Grime?
Yeah, just grime. Like, I'll probably do a healthy amount of the fine gray or fine brown. Probably fine brown. Fine brown earth. And then over the top of that, some snow for the muddy effect.
Nice.
And then we'll just paint all that up.
Trench mud.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super stoked for these, especially after doing this test right here, because in one stream, being able to not even know what we're doing, get a pretty good start on her, to where there's not, this model's easy because there's not a lot of detail that I have to go back on. She's a big walking Iron Maiden, basically.
Yeah, because there's really not a whole lot of different colors to do on this model.
This damn fly wants airtime.
It just wants more kisses.
Like, legit. You just want stardom.
Kiss.
15 seconds of fame there, buddy.
15 seconds of
Say hi to chat.
Flame.
Freaking dirtwad. Get out of here. We get nice weather for a little bit in Phoenix, and everybody starts leaving the doors open. Now there's flies everywhere.
Yep. I feel like that happened last year, too.
Oh, it happens every year. It's just Phoenix in the winter. Because, I mean, our winters are cold enough to kill most of the bugs you don't want around, but flies are annoying bastages.
Nurgle is on stream.
One of the heralds has come to visit us. Yeah, and I think picking the gold back out is a good deal.
Yeah, that looks really nice. Are there any other bits that would be a different color other than the silver, or is it all kind of just that same sort of plate?
Well, you know, that's one of the cool things about this is being that it's World War I. There's not a lot of like filigree. There's not a lot of crazy other stuff. So I feel like I feel like I'm not really interested in making it. I thought about doing like these thigh plates, the hinges on the armor in gold too, but no. Yeah. I think having the rusty metal be what it is. I think the monochromatic view of these is going to really pull them into that almost black and white photo style that I really want this army to be. And we'll find punches of color through the red blood. I'll overdo the red blood so where it's more red than it should be.
Yeah, I didn't even clock again that you're doing the red blood. That's going to change this model.
Like, and that's another reason why I want to do the white cloth, because then red blood streaks will, like red blood splatter on the cloth will look good.
That's going to look
on all the other guys. Her cloth is her butt cloth, so it's not like I can still put blood on it, but it won't be.
I think white is a great accent color choice for this faction. Partially because of the blood that you were talking about, but I think it's just it makes sense in the sense of the whole pilgrim thing, right?
Yeah, that's my hope, and it should be easy enough.
Oh yeah. Well, I think in general, I mean, you always make the joke that you paint slow, but I think that this stuff will paint up super fast.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the kind of stuff that you paint like nice very quickly.
Well, this is all tricks of the trade stuff, right? Mm-hmm. This is not spending hours and hours layering. This is deciding very quickly that the theme of the army allows me to paint very quickly. And I love that, right? It's one of the things that I joked with Jamie, one of the guys from Trench Crusade. I was like, you know what I love about the game is that I can paint it all to a very high quality look without high quality techniques.
Yep.
Not to, limit the ability to paint however you like for Trench Crusade.
It's very true.
But it just is something where when I'm dealing with, death and blood and guts in a trench, I can do this, right? I can do all this very grimy, gritty, noosh the heck out of it, and have really good quality effects, right? Because, that model is basically done.
Yeah.
Put a base on her.
Yep.
And we can call her done.
Yep.
Obviously, I still got to paint the cloth on the back and all that stuff, and do something with the gun here. And I will do some green in the shadows once I get more of the units together, or maybe we'll play with her and do that. But yeah, I'm stoked. I think this is awesome.
This gets me so jazzed for the rest of what we've got planned. It's gonna be really, really cool.
I have the idea of the cloth will be similar to how we did the quote-unquote white on here.
Oh, nice. With that green cloth.
Right.
Which will pair really, really well with all the red that you're going to put on top of it.
Right. Again, thinking ahead into what colors are going to be like your splash colors. Like if you're going to do blood on your, world eaters, then you probably don't want to do a lot of red, right?
You
want to go back to like white and blue world eaters.
Yep.
That was what made those so cool. When you do red and bronze world eaters, it's like, well, now I can't do the blood because the blood just looks like more
blood.
Yeah, blood.
More
Same
armor.
with Death Guard. It's really funny how in 40K, like the Death Guard army turned green armor, but they look so much better with the white because then the green looks like what it's supposed to be, which is grit and grime.
Yep.
And mold and all that kind of crap.
White is just a fantastic and versatile color, right? Because it's kind of like
it's a neutral. Everything goes with it.
Yeah.
White and black are great because yes, do they go with they go with everything. Had a customer ask us on social media today, hey, I'm trying to paint I think he was painting capes on something that he was using your pink armor recipe from the short.
Oh, cool.
And was doing a whole unit of I can't remember. what they were.
Mm-hmm.
But they all had capes too. Maybe it was Chaos Warriors for Age of Sigmar.
Oh, cool.
And so he was doing them all in that kind of pinkish armor, that, you know, maroony, burgundy, whatever you want to call it. We called it pink, but and he was like, so would red work? And I got into this whole discussion about how, yeah, the monochromatic of like your red fabric or red, you know, I think he did a red cape short too. And he was wanting to use both of those. I'm like, yeah, the monochromatic will be really, really cool. I was like, but you also don't deny the fact that like black, you know, would be really, really cool against that pink and might be easy. Purples would look good. You know, it just depends on what you're trying to do and what kind of contrast you're trying to create on the model.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, you know, number one, your ability to paint that and what you think will look cool and match your story. Yeah, this is going to be bitching.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm very curious. So, do you have any idea what the size wise the like cone head guys, pyramid head guys versus these?
Same scale.
They're
probably taller because of the cone on the head, but the scale's the same. And the males are generally bulkier because it's all more heroic scale, like, you know, like the difference between Space Marines and Sisters of Battle.
Totally.
Right. There's that one captain guy from on my desk. I should have brought him in here. Should have had you put him on a bit, but he's from the new Antioch faction. That
that guy.
So we're not doing anything with New Antioch. We thought we'd do New Antioch, but Jordan liked the Heretic Legion, so.
Yeah, I had it was one of those weird moments where I'm like, oh, this model's cool, and you're like, cool, let's do that one, and I was like, oh, I really like this one too.
But well, and it makes sense because New Antioch and all the factions fight, you know, obviously the Heretic Legions are more on the side of your traditional good v bad. Although I don't know that you can ever think that the crazy ecclesiastical, you know, war monks and war nuns are the good guys. But
you know, Mo, they're actually a little bit bigger. I feel like in general, Malifaux is pretty small. Their scale is a little bit smaller than traditional like 28 millimeter scale.
Malifaux is like 28 mil.
They're like 25
true,
almost.
Like true scale though. They're not heroic. That's the thing. They're like 28 mil, but you know everything is the right size for that 28 mil, as opposed to the 28 mil Games Workshop 28 mil at heroic scale, where everything's bulked up a bit. These are a little more heroic. They're not quite that, you know, huge hands, head heroic, but they're more in that direction than the Malifaux. Although this model feels very Malifaux, you know, you can see like her hands are, you know, her arms and stuff are slim. The sword hilt is a little bulked up so that it doesn't break, but it doesn't feel overly so.
Well, they made good choices with the miniatures, right? Because there's some things
and Lowe's beard, exactly,
to get stuff like stay together really well. And bulking up the sword is like one of the things that you just mentioned, right? And I think that they did that really well on the models that I've seen. It's also 4 o'clock, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know you got to dodge out of here.
Yep, I'm gonna dodge out of here. I'm gonna go get a workout in with
guys. If you'll stick around with me for a minute, I'm gonna paint this white tabard just so I can say I did something in a full stream.
Oh yeah, there you go. Heck yeah.
So I'm gonna take some bone and add it into my dark camo green. But say goodbye to Jordan. He's gonna leave us.
Bye everyone.
He's hopefully gonna take this fly with him.
Yeah, I'll go over there. I'll grab it from you and I'll take it with me. So Jason, are you gonna be here tomorrow?
I am not here tomorrow.
Okay.
No.
So I will be back.
No, I'm not, because I have a 3 o'clock and I have to leave prior to that, so I probably will not be with you at all tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll make it happen. We'll go back to Mr. Prometheus and the robot. Hopefully we can knock out the good chunk of that tomorrow. I will see you guys for that stream tomorrow at 2 p.m. So don't forget to join. Yeah. Much love, you guys. Thanks for hanging out today. It's always fun being over here on this side of the fence. And I'll see you later. Jason, enjoy. Have a blast.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night.
You need me to turn anything off before I go?
Nah, I'll handle it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, chat. Have a good night, Jason.
Hey, you out of here?
Yeah.
All right, take it easy, Gabe. Right, that was just bone mixed in. I'll continue to put a little bit more bone in there. It'll give us this crazy, dirty, dingy mildew white color eventually. I didn't use bone on the mech. I wanted to do something a little bit different here, but still close. As I go brighter, I'll start using thinner and thinner paint so that it acts more like a glaze, so I can put it over the shadows and still keep them fairly dark. Notice how I didn't put the second layer over the shadow at all. The third layer will go over it. And using very wispy, very fast, abrupt brush strokes, so I get some brush line in there so it looks like, you know, worn out fabric. So I'm not worried about smooth blends on any of this. I'm wanting that choppiness, so to speak. Then lastly, just bone by itself, very wet. I'm only using a number 2 brush, so you want to get a lot of dampness on there. You can see how watery my paint is this time around. So because I'm getting so thin, I need to take most of it off like you normally see me do, so that when we go over here and start putting it on the model, we don't get big droplets of wetness on the upper surfaces. And it's much easier for me to move that color around like I need to. Gives me a much better blend. This is the way a proper glaze will be applied in this situation. The thickness of the medium basically helps keep the paint consistent in drying times. Yes, for our glaze wash medium, it's built to allow you to get the confidence of glazing. I just use water right here. I've been doing this a long time, so the level of my confidence with paint, no matter what thinness it is very high. The glaze wash medium will allow you to do what I'm doing here, but have the paint feel like paint. You'll still want to make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush, but it won't be as runny as what you see me using and some of the hassles that you run into as a person learning to glaze are built out of that runny paint. It's hard to control. Yeah, I've been doing this for so long, and you know, some of the tools that we make here at Monument are built off of the hassles I've experienced for painting for so many years without proper tools because they just didn't exist. And saying, you know what, as a beginner, what would have helped is being able to do things like filtering and glazing without having to learn to control the low viscosity of a water based product that acts like water. You know, painting with water is not fun. It turns out watercolors, you know, are meant for flat surfaces that soak up the water. Otherwise, they're not fun to paint with. All right, so now we're starting to get a white out of this. Bone is a great color for getting you towards a dirty white, no matter what you're doing. You know, I know it's called bone, and so a lot of people in our industry tend to look at it. It's called dragon flesh. You can't use it for humans. But the reality is you get some of your best color interactions from taking a color out of its normal habitat, so to speak. And even though this color was built as a way to get a really good hue laid down for things like teeth and bone and skeletons and all that, it works so well for all sorts of other things. Then you jump into our ivories, which is where I'll go next, to get the final, air quotes, white. Stay in the color range that is more yellow, and it'll give you a very dingy overlay. So I want regular ivory, not bright. Regular old ivory. Yeah, the ivories are the best alternative to white out there. In the yellow scaling, right? White blue is one of my favorite colors ever. I use it on everything metallic or that area of white, it seems. Colm says, yeah, I only started painting this year. I'm still very much learning phase and making my own washes at work like store-bought ones has been a struggle. Yeah, it can be difficult. But if you're using our glazed wash medium, the nice thing is that it works very, very well. You use 50-50 glazed wash medium and water is the place to start. So put in 4 drops of glazed wash, 4 drops of water, and then like 1 or 2 drops of paint to start to see if you get the color. Much less paint than glaze and water. But typically the same amount of water as you use glaze and wash medium is the way to turn it into a wash. Remove the water part out of it, and now you have your glaze, right? So paint plus glaze medium is glaze, plus water is wash. If you can get that in your head, then that's the easiest way to get that mixture to work. And then you'll fine tune it based on your results. How well it works for you to achieve the goal you were looking for. Our black, like I thinned down the black wash that I used on her about, I don't know, 2 to 1 wash to water when we were doing that. So I thin our washes down too because I like painting in a way that allows me to build up to the color. I don't really ever expect the color to do everything for me on the first pass. Now I'm lazy. I don't want to do more than like 2, maybe 3 passes of the color. So I'm not going to glaze 15 layers together very often. This fly is literally going to have to start paying me for promotional time. Ain't nobody got time for glazing 15 layers. Tell that to all the painters that love doing it. You just wind up with very desaturated colors. It makes life really hard trying to get back to the color you expected when you glaze that many layers together, because it's just the natural outcome of that much thin layer buildup. Doesn't matter what paint you're using, it's going to be really hard to keep it that vibrant. So then you have to glaze another layer of color over the top of what you just spent all that time glazing to get the final color you're after. Yeah. If you can learn to do like I'm doing here, you use like 2, 3 at tops, maybe 4 if you're doing a display model. You'll be much happier with your whole process. Philip!
Hi, Jason.
How long you been there?
I just sat down.
Oh, okay.
TV's not true.
This freaking fly. Go bother Philip, fly.
Me? Why
Yeah.
me?
Well, because I don't want it.
Here. I can't. The TV won't turn on, so I'm just gonna bug you here. Oh, that fly is bothering me. Why'd you send him over here?
Thank God.
Oh, it goes back. Oh, okay. Isn't this?
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Hi. Good. Just got done doing math. That was fun.
All day.
Oh, that's
All day, every day.
That is that's a lot of my day, but I like it, so it's fine. Hi, Paint Liquor. It's Jill. Jill up. Hi, Avian. How are you? You got through that thing quick, Jason.
When I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna paint a
using
warband in a week or a week and a half, it's got to be some sort of a very fast paint job.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
So I'm like, yes, this will work. Now, unfortunately, not the whole army is like this. This is like one of the only ones that is just metal and a sword. Like she's literally all metal. And this one
I saw the start of
this
the
one
stream.
little garb of cloth that's on here. All the other ones have a lot more cloth and skin and bare feet and all that kind of stuff. So this will be the easiest, but I figured this would give me a good place to start the feel I wanted.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, like you said, that's gonna be the quick one. It looks great. Hi everybody. Oh my goodness, so many people said hi. Panic Bomb said hi. Mo said hi. Flapjack hi. Game Delay. Where's the mud? Someone's asking where the mud is.
It'll come.
It'll come. The fly is trying to eat the paint. Or me. I can't tell.
Yes.
Is it time to learn to play Battletech? You don't have to learn it here. There's a whole video you can go watch. Off the thumb palette. Deep pressure. Hi, Awkwardish. There's so many people. So many nice people. Quad, hi. Yeah, I saw the beginning of stream. I heard you guys talking about a chastity belt, and then I left. That was where I left off.
Yeah, she has a chastity belt.
Hey.
Basically a whole chastity suit of armor. Got a
And
lock,
a gun.
A lock on the crotch. Yeah, she also has a drum-fed Luger.
But yeah, that one threw me off. I was like, oh look, a knight, and you said drum-fed Luger. I'm like, what is it going? What is this for?
Trench Crusade.
Oh, Trench Crusade. Oh, that's the one Jordan was telling me about it.
Yeah.
He said it looked really cool. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's made by the guy that basically invented Mordheim for GW.
Oh, so it's probably going to be good.
There's my dirty white cloth based off of green as a starting point. That's just basically the 3 colors: bone, dark camo green, and then the ivory. And I can go back with bright ivory if I need to do some cross hatching on it later, but we'll do all the weathering up from this. You don't want to finish everything and then weather. You want to get it up to like 75%, then weather, put the mud and the blood on it, and then go back and do any of the rest of the stuff that I want to do. But I think that's a pretty good distance on her. I got to work on the gun. I'll probably want to do some blued gunmetal to pull it apart, so we'll use some repaint it with a dark silver first, because it doesn't need to be all rusty. That's just the over spill of the noosh, but you can see how the noosh really makes this model. That rusty undertone on everything really, I think, sets the stage for that kind of grim, dark, nasty feel.
Noosh is so good.
Noosh is so good.
It's so good.
Like, look how smooth it is. Now it's all dry.
It's great. I love it. I use it all the time.
Better than any wash.
Absolutely. It doesn't look all.
And I did the black wash first. So to be fair, I put a black wash and let the black wash dry to give me the definition in the armor panels, because the sculpt is a little shallow in some places.
Mm-hmm.
So the black wash helped to make sure all that was done. And then, going back over that with the noosh, and then a quick dry brush of the silver, and then I can go touch up any of the highlight spots with silver on the brush and be fine.
Be great.
Same with brightening up the gold in some spots and things like that. But for a quick 2-hour paint job,
Up the remote.
works pretty well.
Works very well, actually.
With the 3-foot test, and you still get some good contrast, even on a model that's all metallic. It makes me cringe. But being able to use the noosh to give it some nuance, and then I can go back in and add some green in the shadows since I've used the green on the tabard, and have some fun stuff happen there too. So I can see on these guys like doing like a freehand cross on the tabard at some point if I really wanted to put time into it. So you can really do a lot of detail on them. The model's nice and small, easy to deal with. I think that freaking
you have more built already? Or just that one? Oh yeah, Percival's the same size.
Kick her ass.
Oh yeah, easily. Got weight. He's got weight on her.
He's like weighs 3 times as much as she does.
In feathers. The interview.
Avian, no, this is not a this is not a formal version of that. This is just one of the first models we printed up, and I figured today Jen was out. Jordan was gonna do the hosting duties. And so I was going to, I want to start on something else, because obviously we're at the point where the only thing I have on the mech that we've been painting up is the rest of the basing, and I don't want to do the basing and then have to let it dry for an hour and tell fart jokes. And so that's really all we got to do here is a little bit of the basing, get the basing done, and then maybe do some iconography for the Snow Ravens on this mech at some point in time. But it's turning out really nice.
It looks very nice.
So nice big Timberwolf. And now something small. I haven't painted a small 28mm model in forever, have I? I guess that this guy counts.
Is that 28 mil? I mean, he's a big guy, but yeah, you picked a big 28 mil.
I guess he counts, but that's that's like a big, heavy infantry type dude. So yeah, I haven't painted small models in a long time. Yeah. I've been focused on so many big things lately that nice to get back in and do something like this. Plus, very speedy. So hopefully, you guys and gals have learned something. I've got enough. I've got enough of this rust-colored noosh here that if you want some, I'll send it to you.
It'll last.
I made like a whole army's worth. When I squirted the noosh in there, I go, oh, that was a waste. But this will still be good tomorrow.
It'll be great tomorrow. That's what I'm saying. This will work. A little bit of water, it'll be fine.
Casquilla, thank you.
They are.
Battletech is your new favorite game because it has Gator.
As Gator. Gator.
You bet there's a lot of flies in the trenches. Is that why we've had a fly join us on stream today?
Probably.
It's the spirit of Trench Crusade. Sir Blaine, what's going on? Hope everyone has had a wonderful time watching us knock out this mini today. This went from prime to here in the course of the stream. If you're just showing up at the end, you can go check it out. We used our noosh product on it, which is fantastic. Just gives you so many opportunities over a base. I mean, this is literally... the magnesium as a base. We mixed silver with magnesium for a quick brush highlight. And when I say quick, I mean quick. Like, I didn't spend any time painting the highlight on there at all. Then we did the black wash over the top of that. Right? Then we did the noosh mix that we mixed for the, that is burnt sienna in the noosh. We did the noosh. We took it off with the sponge like you do. So if you don't know, noosh, you just, this whole thing with everybody Gabe had a very loud audible gas.
Just like smearing it.
Because the model looked so good, and then I basically went and dipped it in the noosh, and it's a big glob of goop. And then you wipe it off with a sponge, and you get this nice kind of rusty feel without having it be painted on rust. If you use like a GW rust effect or somebody else's rust wash on a model of this scale, it's overdone.
Oh, absolutely.
It's too much, right? It's like that is like the...
That's not how rust works.
Yeah, it's like in the Wizard of Oz, like when the Tin Man, rusts solid, it just wouldn't be able to move. This just gives us a nice haze of that rusty coloring on there, which works very well. Then I went back and dry brushed silver. The same silver that we use here, and I'm using rich gold is the only color we've used on the golds. That's it.
It looks
That's
great.
all. And then the green and bone that I used on the white. So a very, very simplistic scaling of color here to get a great job. And I think this will work good across the whole army, because the rest of the army is just more padded armor that I'll do in the white with the green. So I like that. And then variations on metal. And the other guys have got some skin, some flesh showing that I'll have to work up a good skin tone or multiple skin tones that I like for the army. But yeah, I think all in all, this is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be great. How many models total?
We've got 10-foot troopers, 1 or 2 medium-sized infantry guys. On mine, I think they're called like castigators or something. And then 1 big
13.
Well, there's like a hero unit too.
Yeah.
That's like it's the same size as these, but it's like the general or leader. I think it's like a war priest for me.
It's like 14 or 15.
And then the shrine, which is like a dreadnought sized church. Church that carries a big wagon wheel to hit you with. So it's a lot of fun.
Love it.
So yeah, so it should be
That'll be
fun.
great.
Should be fun.
Should be.
So thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us. We will be doing more Trench Crusade. As Jordan said before he ditched out, he will be here on his own tomorrow, maybe with Jen. You get Jen and Jordan tomorrow. I'm out. I have a meeting at 3 o'clock tomorrow, so I won't be here. But I will be back on Friday. So I look forward to seeing you then before the weekend. But have a wonderful rest of your day. Stick around. We're going to find somebody to raid. But first, I need to put all the links in chat for you.
I don't have a keyboard. I can't help.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just here to look pretty. That's why you hired me, right?
Yes, you're the pretty one.
I am the pretty one.
Well, I mean, I'm not laughing.
Hey, you know what? I don't care if you laugh. I believe it in my head, and that's all that matters.
You know, most of the Marines that I know have been pretty men.
Yeah.
It's just the kind of the way
how
it is. There's beautiful men in the Marines.
There are some ugly dudes.
There are some ugly dudes.
There's some ugly dudes.
Same. The Discord, where you can join over 5,000 amazing artists just like yourselves.
We're over 5,000
for lovely
now.
banter. Yeah, we're over 5,000. Isn't that crazy?
That's
it's
wild.
insane. Absolutely insane. It feels like yesterday we were like, hey, we have 400 members. That's
great. Yeah.
And then, of course, the YouTube. Where we're broadcasting. Some of you are watching us from YouTube right now. That didn't work because it.
Why didn't? Did you? Is capital Y what kills
it? It may be that it's case sensitive.
It's case sensitive. All
so,
right. We've learned
yeah, check out the YouTube because that's where all these streams go. So if you tuned in late, you want to see the process that we did for this gal to get her to this point very quickly on the stream, and you'd like to paint an army like that or something similar, you can go watch it on the YouTube as soon as we hit the stop button. It'll be over there, archived forever.
Instantly.
Or like I say, until Google dies. So love your faces. Don't go change it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, we stream 5 times a week.
5 times.
5 times a week from 2 to 4.
There it is.
Don't know where the 4 came from. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. And we'd love to see you back here. So make sure you hit that follow button, get the alerts, and come hang out with us. Tell fart jokes and watch some cool painting. We'd love to see you back. Thanks so much. Thanks for supporting our little endeavor here in buying Pro Acrylic paint. Stick around for the raid and show some love in the channel we wind up in. And we'll catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.